The London Ward representative by-election in Nakuru County, our very own, was right there, Ibrahim Karanja, bringing us up to speed with the results in that particular by-election. Take a listen.
Well, we are coming live to you from London Ward in Nakuru County, and the IEBC has just announced or declared the winner for the London Ward by-election, a seat that has now gone with the UDA party, and that is Anthony Nzuki. Just to get you the quick results of the final tally, Anthony Nzuki of the UDA party, after 29 out of 29 polling stations were pulled in, has 1,707 votes against his closest rival, that is Jubilee Party's Francis Njoroge, who has 1,385. Now, the conclusion of this particular by-election means a lot to the politics of this particular area. Remember, Nakuru is the place where President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto shook hands in 2013 before they went for the top seat. And this is where this particular by-election has actually pitted the two of them against each other. It was said that largely, much as it was a ward by-election, largely this was actually President Uhuru Kenyatta versus Deputy President William Ruto. Now, that is the final results. We, of course, are tracking the celebrations here and very many other things, shall be developing from this particular area. Of course, it shall be interesting to get the reaction of those particular leaders who are involved in these particular elections. So immediately we get results, immediately we get reactions, we shall be telling you as it comes. But Moses Kuria is one of the party leaders who had his candidate vying. That is the People's Empowerment Party, came number 3. Moses, thank you so much for speaking to us on KTN News. Of course, you came hopeful for your candidate.
Yeah.
The results are out. UDA has carried the day.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Well, my biggest regret is that we were the winning party in this election. And the reason we did not win is because of the very low turnout. And people from this ward were prepared to vote. But the kind of violence we experienced from Jubilee and UDA should be very worrying for this country. And I think as we head towards next year and the next year's general election, we should be worried about the divisive and the poisonous politics that we expect from Jubilee and UDA. And as a People's Empowerment Party, I think for us, we feel emboldened to stand for this country and to refuse the divisive politics of these two main parties, and to show this country that we have got options and we have got alternatives. I think we are extremely disappointed because, in some of our, we were actually, every other poll was putting us ahead, but it's also a fact because, we went back to the ground to verify, and we found out that people did not get out to vote because they were scared about all the violence, or the tear gas, or the bullets, and all the everything. So we really want to ask UDA and Jubilee to get their fights elsewhere and to save this country from the kind of looming violence and looming, crisis that we can expect next year. And I think, personally, I don't feel the loss. I feel the loss for this country. And I feel grateful that we have found, an indicator, an early warning sign of what you can expect from UDA and Jubilee as we head next year. Right. It's very worrying.
It's very
worrying. And I want to, ask my candidate.
Perhaps, perhaps very briefly, Bwana Gatuso, you vied in these elections. What are your sentiments? Of course, it's very worrying, like your party leader is saying.
I believe, according to how the ground was, we were to win the election, but because of the violence that was brought up by both parties that were contending, UDA and Jubilee, and also the malicious group that was hired by those groups to come and intimidate our people. So the turnout was low, and my people were afraid, or they were kind of pushed away because of the intimidation that was there. So I believe we were here to win, but I believe to some extent it is time that we tell our youths not to be used, to diffuse themselves from being used to do things which are not good, or things which are not productive to this country.
Thank you, Gatuso. Of course, you always live to fight another day.
But I want to add something. If this country does not find an alternative to UDA and Jubilee, this country is going to the dogs.
Thank you so much, Moses. Thank you. Well, and indeed, what the two leaders are talking about is what we witnessed across London Road, and specifically at Milimani Primary School, where even tear gas canisters was being lobbed at people who were causing chaos, youth allied to UDA and Jubilee Party. Even at some point, we had 4 of our colleagues, journalists, injured while covering this particular by-election. But let's hope that, like everyone else hopes, that this is not a precursor to the coming days, even as we head to the next 2022 general election. But as